If you've come across the term fractional executive and found yourself looking it up online, that search usually doesn't happen in a vacuum. It tends to happen at a specific moment. The business is growing, but something underneath the growth feels unstable. You need senior level support, but you're not sure exactly what kind or whether the model even applies to your current business situation. That awareness matters. Most founders push through that feeling for months before they stop to name it. So let me give you a clear answer to the question and then help you figure out whether this is actually what your business needs right now. A fractional executive is a highly experienced senior leader who works with a company on a part-time or fractional basis. They bring C-suite expertise without the cost or long-term commitment of a full-time hire. They are not junior support. They're not consultants who hand you a report and then disappear. They are senior operators who embed into your business, take real ownership, and stay invested in your outcomes over time. The model has grown significantly as experienced operators have deliberately chosen portfolio careers over single company roles. And the best fractional executives are not between jobs. They have chosen this model because it allows them to do the work they are genuinely best at across multiple businesses without the politics or constraints of a single corporate seat. I'm Fredrickson, the founder of the COO Solution, and I've spent years working inside this model with founders who reached exactly this crossroads. This is where the model tends to surprise founders because it does not look or feel like an outside hire. When a fractional executive is embedded into your business, they are fully inside it. They are not observing from a distance or preparing recommendations for a quarterly review. They are in your leadership meetings, managing real priorities and making operational decisions while driving accountability across your team. The fractional part describes their time commitment, not their depth of involvement or their level of leadership. In practice, I have seen fractional executives own weekly team meetings, lead hiring decisions, manage vendor relationships, and hold direct reports accountable to clear performance metrics. The founder's week changes in a way that is immediately noticeable. Fewer decisions funnel upward, fewer fires land on the CEO's desk. There is someone in the operational seat who is not just aware of the problems, but is actively working through them. In some businesses, particularly scaling startups or smaller companies, a single fractional executive may carry more than one functional responsibility, depending on where the gaps really are. The role is shaped by the business's actual needs, not by a fixed job description handed down from a corporate org chart. The clearest distinction from a consultant is accountability. A consultant advises, a fractional executive executes. The specific fractional executive is the category. The specific roles underneath it are where the meaningful differences lie. A fractional CEO typically focuses on company vision, investor relationships, and overall strategic direction. A CFO, fractional chief financial officer, can own financial strategy, reporting, and long-term cash management. A fractional CMO, chief marketing officer, can lead marketing strategy and execution. A fractional COO, chief operating officer, does it all. They are the unicorn, the jack of all trades, your air traffic controller in your business across the entire functions of the company: marketing, sales, operations, and finance. They own the systems, team structure, execution infrastructure, and the day-to-day machinery that holds everything together. For most growth stage founders, the fractional COO is often the missing piece, not because financial or marketing leadership is unimportant, but because the bottleneck is usually always operational. Too much is running through the founder, the CEO. There is not enough structure in place to execute without them. and the business is growing, but is growing through the founder rather than through a scalable system. A fractional COO goes beyond managing what already exists. They build what is missing. Listen, if your primary challenge is financial strategy or cash flow, visibility, or preparing for a raise of investment funds, a fractional CFO is likely the right fit. If you are stepping fully back from day-to-day leadership and need someone to carry the strategic and external facing responsibilities, a fractional CEO may be appropriate. If you need a marketing function that runs and built and led with real accountability, a fractional CMO makes sense. But if you are a growth stage founder, CEO who has become the bottleneck in your overall day-to-day operations, if your team lacks clear direction and accountability, and if systems are underdeveloped or non-existent in some cases, then you need a fractional COO. The operational gap is almost always where growth stage businesses feel the most strain and lose the most time. At the COO Solution, our work is not a temporary engagement. It is an ongoing operational partnership that evolves as the business grows. We embed a dedicated, trusted fractional COO into your company. They do not advise from a distance. They sit inside the business, build the infrastructure, lead the team through change, and hold the accountability that has often been missing for way too long. Our proven 30, 60, 90-day process is designed to help founders see real traction and results quickly. In the first month, we create clarity around where the friction is and where decision-making is breaking down. In the second month, we implement structure and install real accountability. By the 90th day, the shift is tangible. I have worked with founders who were putting in, 14 to 16-hour days, unable to step away without the business stalling. Within 3 months, they were operating strategically again, not because they worked less, but because the business had been finally built to carry its own weight. Revenue kept growing. The team performed better. The founder's role changed from operator to leader. And that pattern is not an accident. It is what intentional operational design produces. There is one thing I want to say directly because it matters more than any framework or process. The hardest part of bringing in a fractional executive is not logistical. It is psychological. Most founders have built their identity around being the person in the business who holds everything all together. Being needed feels like being valuable. Letting go of operational control, even to someone highly capable, can feel like losing something essential. But the founders who scale successfully make a specific shift. They stop measuring their value by how much they personally do in the business and start measuring it by what the organization can accomplish without them in the middle of every decision. You cannot scale yourself. You can only scale systems and the people who run them. That shift in thinking is where real growth begins. So if you're still deciding which type of fractional executive your business needs, our fractional COO quiz is a great starting point. It helps you identify what kind of operational support makes sense for not only where you are, but also where you want to go. Or if you are ready to have a real, honest, and direct conversation about what your business needs, schedule a discovery call with me, and we will start there. You bring the vision. We build the operational systems that allow your company to scale without consuming you. I'm Fredrickson, and this is the COO Solution.